Martian Games, Book 1, Tank Off Classic. Chapter 1, The Battle of the Bluffs. "Left!" screamed Lighthammer, kicking the deck plates in the command position of the T-90 tank. "Left, you flacking idiot!" "Yes, boss," replied Indianapolis over the comlink. "Going left. Can't left any faster without stopping." "That's not what I'm seeing," Light Slammer continued to yell. "Because I'm tracking right, moron," said Superstorm from the gunner's positions. "What the Tharsis?" yelled Light Slammer. "Why the Tharsis are you doing that?" "Because you told me to return fire, brass bowl," Superstorm yelled back. "They aren't there now, idiot," said Light Slammer. "They were when you told me," complained Superstorm. "So where do you think they are?" Light Slammer scanned his monitors. Space in the tank was tight and it was very noisy. The air was heavy with the heat and smell of shell propellant from imperfect seals. Operations consoles lined the turret with a complex autoloader sitting between the commander's position and the gunner's. Beneath them was the roar of the simulated 12-cylinder engine and the churning of the tracks, making shouting required to be heard, if it was not already the preferred method of communication. "I've got nothing," complained Light Slammer. "Where did those scents go?" He scanned the surrounding terrain, then flipped on the remote to the driver. "Indy, get us up on top of that hillock right in front. I've got to see where they've gone this time." "Yes, boss," came Indianapolis's tired voice. "They're probably round the back of the island by now. You know how they move in that Abrams." "Just do it," growled Light Slammer. Superstorm petulantly flipped a few switches and rotated the turret back to true forward, and looked sullenly at Light Slammer as he unbuckled and started undoing the dogs on the outer hatch. "Don't get your head blown off," he said, with no trace of sincerity. "Frack you," said Light Slammer, before throwing back the panel and sticking his head out. Dust filtered down from the open hatch into the cockpit. Superstorm waved his hand in front of his face in disgust. They were on a low rise on the west side of the island. It wasn't really an island, as surface water on Mars was extremely rare. Instead, it was a lump of terrain sculpted out of the Noctis labyrinthus, surrounded by a sandpit dyed blue. But it was one of the two classic training layouts in the second-level syllabus for tankery that the school could afford. It was the most loathed of the two courses by the students. From this viewpoint, Light Slammer scanned the entire west side of the island, but all was quiet. "Not a drum thing," swore Light Slammer, sinking back down. "They're probably right behind us," said Superstorm. Light Slammer shot back up again, took a quick look further west, but there was nothing. He slammed back down again and punched up the radio. Fire dog, we've lost sight of the Abrams. Do you have eyes on?" A loud barking came back over the radio. Light Slammer rested the mic against his forehead in a tired manner. "I hate that kid," he muttered. "Speak human, dog," he barked back into the mic. The barking turned into a growl and a yip, and they heard the distant sound of a round being fired to the northwest. "That's the Tiger," said Superstorm. "We left them defending the base." Light Slammer scoffed. Obviously, they can't even do that. He pursed his lips and concentrated. "R-10 is going for the flag. He's got to bring it back to their base in the south. Will he break east or west?" "West, obviously." Indianapolis's voice came over the driver's comm. "We're on the east side." "R-10's a sneaky backward," muttered Light Slammer. "I wouldn't put it past him to come east, thinking that we'd go west." "Good point," said Superstorm in irritation. "Let's take all day to think about it." "Frack you," growled Light Slammer. "Go south, Indy. Let's get to their base first, and we can take them no matter which way they come." "Yes, boss," came Indianapolis's response. The tank then kicked into motion, clattering down the hill backwards, before doing a 180-degree spin in place, and then racing south down the east side of the island toward the opposing base. Tiger tank," called Light Slammer over the radio. "Are you still there?" There was renewed barking over the radio, and sighs from Light Slammer as he rattled around the turret from Indianapolis's frantic driving. "East or west? East or west?" There was an inquisitive whine. "Did the flagging Abrams break for the east or west side of the island?" Amidst the excited barks, Light Slammer could just make out the other crew members desperately yelling, "East!" With a jerk, he punched up his 360-degree monitors and yelled, "Flak! They're right behind us! Indy!" Indianapolis skipped, slamming on the brakes, and just threw the treads into reverse. Everyone was thrown forward in their seats as the tank lurched to a stop, as the tracks threw up large clouds of dust and debris. Slowly, Then they began to accelerate backwards. There was a thundering explosion that threw them forward in their seats again and accelerated their movement. "Are we dead?" yelled Superstorm over the noise. "If we were dead, the engine would cut," Indianapolis said over the comm. "I think it was a near miss. I can't see through for rust, though. Where are they?" Light Slammer frantically flicked through the cameras, but mostly saw billowing smoke, dust, and debris. Then there was a flicker in one of them, and he screamed, "Right! Flacking behind us!" There was another ear-splitting slam as they got thrown backwards this time, all momentum killed. And then the grinding and crunching noise, starting at the back of the tank, clattering over the turret, and then down the front. "Flackers drove right over us," said Indianapolis in awe. "Fire!" yelled Light Slammer. "I have no—" started Superstorm. "Fire, Flackhead! Fire!" screamed Light Slammer. Superstorm waved his hands at his targeting screen, which only showed billowing dust, and then punched the fire button. There was the roar of the round launching and a wave of propellant smell, followed almost immediately by another large roar of an impact and detonation. "Yes!" yelled Light Slammer, punching his fist in the air. Finally, we scored a hit!" Even Superstorm looked hopeful as he guided the autoloader to ready another round. That would be the first in a long time. "Back us up, Indy!" cried Light Slammer triumphantly. "Get ready for the kill shot if we need it." The tank edged backwards as they tried to clear the cloud of dust. Light Slammer popped the top again to try to see better than the sights as the dust cleared. But instead of seeing the dead-in-the-water Abrams tank, with a beautiful little white surrender flag sticking out the top, he just saw a pock-marked hillock and tread marks turning a hard left before it. "Flack," he said, sitting down. Then, over the internal speakers, came a melodious tune signaling a flag had been scored, and the end of the match. A synthesized voice followed. "Red team, 1 flag. Blue team, 0 flags. Red team wins."